I want to kick this video off with a question. Have any of you ever interacted with somebody, whether it be in real life or online, and you're talking to this person a little bit, maybe getting to know them a little bit, and you don't find out that they're in a relationship until days, weeks, maybe even months later? Anybody ever had that happen? Yeah, I think should be pretty much all of you raising your hands out there. And that to me is just very dirty. I mean, when it comes down to it, and I've seen it happen too often. And it's not just men that do it. Let's be clear about that. It's definitely not just men that are guilty of doing that. Hiding a relationship. And there are, of course, different reasons why people do it. I mean, the most obvious, you have some people that hide a relationship basically because they're trying to be unfaithful. I mean, clearly that's the most obvious reason. You have some people that will hide their relationship because they might be ashamed of who they're with, which is pretty ridiculous. And I feel like I need to go ahead and address that quickly. If you're with somebody, you should be proud to be with them. If they make you happy, that's something you should be proud of, and you really shouldn't care about other people's judgments. And I mean, I'm sure there are various different reasons why somebody might try to hide somebody they're dating, but to me, it's just ridiculous. Again, if they make you happy, that's what matters. It doesn't matter what other people think, as long as you're two consenting adults. Let's be clear about that. If you're two consenting adults, then you shouldn't have to try to hide them out of shame. That's just, ridiculous to me. And then another reason why some people will try to hide their relationship is because basically they just want more, they want extra attention, That's really what it comes down to. They want more attention from the opposite gender, and of course I'm focusing on straight people because I want to keep moving forward, and there's a lot of different situations I could talk to, but just for the simplicity of the video, I'll just keep it that way. But yeah, and I've had that experience a lot of times where, especially online, getting to know people online, where somebody may not admit that they're in a relationship up front just because basically they like attention, and you'll also have something else that happens a lot of times. People will downplay their relationship, and you'll be like, well, I'm kind of sort of seeing somebody, that type of thing too, which is very shady as well. So and to me, it's the wrong way to even start off just a friendship. Just a friendship. You start off and you don't even know somebody's status. Basically, to me, it's very dirty when they're either trying to hide a relationship or they're trying to downplay it. It's just not a good start at all. And I think what it really comes down to is that, when people in a relationship need to respect it. They need to respect it. I'll say this about my marriage when I was married, that one positive about it, and I mean, there are a lot of negatives, but I got to give props to the positives as well. One positive thing about me and my ex, the way that we interact with each other, is that we always let each other know whenever there was a flirtation with somebody else, whenever somebody else flirted with us, we would actually talk about it, so everything was out in the open, so that I think that was, really good that we did that. And for any future relationship that I might have, I mean, that's the way that I want it to be. I really would like it to be that way, because then I think that, avoids any type of confusion at all. And it's best to, I think, to go ahead and let somebody know if you have had a situation where somebody was flirty with you, like let them know right away, because if you don't say anything about it right away, and then, maybe months later you just happen to mention it, they'll be like, well, why didn't you say anything before? Of course, the gears will start turning, and they might think that there's something more there. So, just out of respect for, whoever you're dating or your spouse, whatever it may be, I think you should let them know when those type of situations arise. And I'll say this: if you're in a relationship, definitely, I think you should be very careful about how you interact with people of the opposite gender. So, if you're a woman and you have a boyfriend or you're married, whatever it may be, you should be very careful about how you interact with men. Same goes for men, that, especially, no, I won't say especially, let me be fair, because it's not really leaning towards one side. Men as well, though, got to be careful about how they interact with other women if they're in a relationship. You got to be respectful to it, because there are people, I think we all know, there are some people that just, they like to ruin relationships, and they like to kind of test boundaries, and it's a challenge to some people also to see if they can interfere in somebody's relationship and get this person to stray. So that's a game to some people. So you really got to watch for that, and don't be a fool either. I mean, some people like just for example, I think some guys they'll be in a relationship with somebody, and then this woman that they think is just amazing will be very flirty with them. So the guy might start thinking to himself, well, maybe I can basically, what's the term some people use, upgrade. I mean, and men and women are guilty of thinking that way. So they might get it in their head that maybe I can upgrade and see what's going on with this person. So they decide to drop, the person they're with, and then they realize this other person really doesn't have an interest in them like that. So they basically just played themselves, So yeah, that's why I say, appreciate who you are with, because obviously you chose to be with them for a reason. So and going back to my marriage, I know my ex and I, we were very careful about our interactions with people of the opposite gender. So and I mean, there were times when because we actually did work together, and I know there were times where coworkers were a little bit flirty with me and seemed like they had a crush, and a lot of times she would notice it before I would. She was kind of more mindful of it than I was. I just didn't really think about it, because I mean, we just worked together, so I didn't really, I just thought it was all in friendliness or whatever. But she would point it out sometimes, and I think in at least one instance she was right, that there was a woman that basically had a crush on me. As a matter of fact, I know for sure, because after I was divorced and everything, the woman let it be known that she had a crush on me. But yeah, it just, and if I had been more aware of that, then I probably would have kept my distance even more. Even though as co-workers, we had to interact some, but I probably would have not been quite as friendly, because I mean, I like to be respectful in that way. And yeah, I think, and we're all human. We all make our mistakes. There are times when we may feel like we need more attention and everything, whatever. But I think me moving forward, I definitely would like to be open about that. If I feel like I'm not getting enough attention, and of course you got to be fair about it, because there's only so much attention you can get from somebody. I mean, we all got to work. If your work schedules don't match up, like you might have some downtime by yourself while your boyfriend or girlfriend or spouse, whatever is at work. You got to respect that, though. I mean, you might get bored, you might get lonely, but you still got to respect that, because they're working to make a living. I mean, they're making money that's going to pay for your dates and everything or whatever. So you can't just seek a bunch of attention from the opposite gender while they're out there doing their job. I mean, that's very disrespectful. And yeah, so there's only so much attention you can get. And I'll say this also, but you do have a right to speak up when you feel like the free time that the person does have, if you feel like you're not getting your fair share. I mean, of course, people got to have time for their family and their friends and their hobbies and everything, but they got to make time for you as well. So if you feel like you're not getting your fair share, be vocal about it. Talk to them about it. Don't go seeking that attention elsewhere, because I think that can lead to all sorts of issues. So I know me moving forward, that's something I'm going to be very careful about, because I've mentioned this before. I did a video a while back about how I do tend to have female friends, just because with my writing, that's how I get to know a lot of people, and it is mostly women that read poetry. I mainly write poetry, so that's why I end up having a lot of female friends. And I'm talking about friends that are basically online friends, not people I even actually meet in person. So, but still, I want to be careful in that, just because I know a lot of these women, they do tend to be in relationships. Sometimes they don't say it up front, or sometimes they will try to downplay it. And I do want to point out something else I think is very shady as well, because I've seen this. When you go from one social media format to another, you really see a different story of what's going on with the person. So somebody might be on one form of social media, you never hear about a relationship. In fact, they may put it out there to make it seem like they are just completely single. Then you go to another form of social media, and all of a sudden it's like, well, who's this person you're with in this picture and that picture and that picture? So again, that's just, it's really shady to me, when people make it seem like they're single and they're not. Even if you're interacting with people that you probably would never end up dating with, I mean, I think it still should be known, because of course if flirtiness develops there, then they have a right to know. And yeah, I know we like the attention. People, it's a natural thing to like attention from the opposite gender. That's a very natural thing. I've talked about that before. But again, if you're seeing somebody, even if it's very new, if you're just dating somebody, if you only had maybe 1 or 2 or 3 dates, still respect it. That's really what it comes down to. Respect your relationship. And I'll say this, if you have an interaction with somebody of the opposite gender and you're not willing to tell whoever you're dating or your spouse every single thing that happened within that interaction, then something's wrong. If you gotta hide any of it, then something is wrong there. So yeah, that's I'm gonna leave it at that. I can't say it enough. Just I think people need to respect their relationships. Me right now, I'm single. So I talk to people. I might be flirty and this and that or whatever, but I don't want to disrespect relationships. And once I'm in a relationship myself, I mean, yeah, some interactions that I have may have to change with other people because I'm gonna be respectful of who I'm with. That's what it comes down to. But as always, I definitely want some feedback from you all. Please, drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Do you see this being a big issue? Because I definitely do. I think there are a lot of people out there, nowadays that they don't really let it be known that they're with somebody. And I'll say this as well. You do have some people that go the opposite extreme to where they put all of their business about their relationship out there. And that's a whole other problem with it, within itself, which, yeah, stay tuned because I will definitely do a video about that in the near future. But yeah, again, let me know what you think about this issue. As always, you comment. I'll try to make sure I comment back. Give me something to really work with, though, a meaningful comment, and I'll definitely put some thought into my response. And thank you for watching, and you all take care. Till next time.